How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? It is Eclipse here, and today I wanted to talk about some of the things that I find improves my game in World of Tanks and makes me a better player when I focus on these specific points. I've got about 4 points I'm going to talk about. Should be under 10 minutes this video, just having a little look at things you should be thinking about when you're in-game and seeing the situation you're in. Should have some gameplay in the background of just a decent game that I had during this couple of days where I make this video. And first of all is actually the playstyle of the tank that you're using. Say if you're using a medium, you don't want to be the one on the front line, obviously, because that's not how usual mediums are meant to be played. I know the Russian ones tend to have more armor on the front, so you can be a bit more aggressive and side scrape round corners and stuff, but if you do make a corner and you're side scraping off, you need some defense if you're against enemy heavy tanks, just so that it takes a bit of pressure off of you and making sure that you're trying to get the side shots into opponents that you're going to be facing whilst playing World of Tanks. And I think really, if you're in a heavy tank, you've got to be on the front line, keeping your ground, maintaining your team's advantage when you're up front, and also pushing through defensive lines of the enemy team when your team needs it. Say if you're losing a flank on one side of the map, but you've got the advantage, you're taking too long to grind them down, and the enemy flank will come around and flank behind you. You need to realise, yes, it might be better to keep my health when staying back on your flank, but then you also need to realise that you're going to die if you take too long. So by pushing, you're going to increase your chances of winning. Although you might lose a lot more health more quickly, you can then have the chance to take out everyone on the opposing side of your flank and then turn around and take out the guys behind you who have pushed around the other flank, or actually get back to the cap circle. And then also what we're going to talk about is actually realising what your situation is, and then also realising what your team situation is. So maintaining like the mindset that you might be in a good situation, but your team might need you in a different situation, which might not be as good for your tank, but it also increases your chance of winning, and then also getting more damage and progressing your team's fight in the map. One other thing that we're going to talk about is what area you go to on a certain map to increase the chances of you winning in that game. Say if you're in Ensk War, you're in a heavy tank, you're not going to be wanting to go up into the top bit where all the mediums usually go, where that little built up area and the open fields, because you're going to get caught out, you're going to be annihilated. And if you go off into the the little city area at the top of the map where there's the open ground, you then might attract other heavy tanks to go with you, which means that the town, the centre of the town, is going to be weakened because all your heavy tanks have gone, and then the enemy are most likely going to send their heavy tanks into the town as well. So it kind of leaves that open. They're going to lose that flank, and then you're a heavy tank in the middle of an open field, and you're going to get flanked by mediums who are just quicker, they've got better gun handling than you, and you're just going to get dominated. So making sure that you're moving to the positions in certain maps for your tank style, and also the play style of the tanks. Some tanks, yes, it might be a heavy, but it might play more like a medium, that you don't really want to be going into a heavy spot, so you might have to take a mid kind of mix of positions where you can use your armor to the best of its abilities if you have any, but then also be able to use your gun. Whereas if you go into town and you have to rely solely on your armor, then you're not going to be able to do as well as maybe an E100, which is angling well on a corner. If you're in a 113 and they come round and you pull round, you try and angle, and they can go through the side of your tank, etc. Much more reliably than if they were trying to go through the side of an E100. And that kind of is the sorts of things you should be looking at. It's more mindset based, whereas I know a lot of people focus on getting better in game, like aiming your shots and stuff, but I think the knowledge about play style and your mindset when you're in the game, making sure that you know what's going on around you and your surroundings, I think that's more important for everyone to understand and real build on your play. Now I'll make a video more specific on each of the topics. So your situational awareness, I know obviously it's a perk in the game, but you need to have it like switched on in your brain, making sure that yes, you might be winning a flank, but then you might have to turn around and go and defend the cap circle. Otherwise they might have defended the cap and then you're kind of stuffed, and you'll lose by cap, even though you might be a superior majority taking on their enemy cap, but they've already poured into yours and you don't have time to get back after you've made that push through their flank and taken them out. So it's making sure that that's the sort of thing you're doing. If your team is just randoms, you're not in a platoon, you need to make sure that yes, your team might look like they're going to do something, but you don't know that. You don't know what they're thinking. They might be thinking they're in your spawn, they're thinking, oh no, there's loads of enemies, I'm going to run, I'm going to go straight down the middle of the map and trying to get in their cap, but not realising that they should have really stayed and let your team get into the cap first, and then you have the advantage. So you need to be the one making decisions and being the one that's going to pull back and defend, and also knowing when to push and when to stay back. And that is really important. So I'll go into some more details in a separate video, which I will do relatively soon, most probably. I hope you guys did enjoy this kind of little commentary that I did. If you did, then hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this. Also check out the channel for other videos. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next video.